Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. This is my second attempt at this particular review, but we'll get into that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside the truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, why wear super cool shirts? I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom, it's my Red Star shirt. See? There's two D's, and it's all one word. What is Red Star, you may ask? Well, folks, it is a band. It is a band out of, I believe, California, if I'm not mistaken. Though I know from having talked with a number of members when I went to go see them that a lot of them actually have their roots back in the Midwest, which is, of course, where I'm from. So that was a nice little connection that we had. I got to see these guys. They were on tour with a band called A Killer's Confession, who I'm a big fan of. And I really, really liked their set, man. Like, they kind of blew me away a little bit. Just the energy, the passion of what they were doing. It was especially cool for me because I consider them to be sort of part of like the nu metal revival movement. And as a big fan of like the nu metal subgenre, like it's super cool for me to, see newer bands who are embracing that whole thing. And especially when they're actually really good at it. And that definitely qualifies with these guys. So much so that not only did I get a shirt, I got a CD, and I went over there and I actually took a couple videos of their performance. They are on this channel, just in case you want to check them out. I have an entire playlist of just concert videos. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? Why is it my second attempt at it? Well, first and foremost, boom! It is popcorn for the people. Gourmet buttered popcorn. Yay! So yes, I went over there. I got through 90% of a review of this. That's why it's open. And I went over there and I dropped the bag during the review. And it kind of threw off the whole vibe of everything. And I was like, all right. So we're doing a second review. So I have tasted it and everything like that. But, we're going to go through it. You know the thing. But anyway, this is also a pretty special review. Why? Because specifically of the place that it comes from, Popcorn for the People. What is Popcorn for the People? They are a non-profit business that specializes in going over there and hiring, training, and working with people who are neurodiverse. If you are unfamiliar with that term, as they state right here, they employ autistic adults as well as people with other disabilities, people who might struggle in a more conventional work environment. They seek to go over there and give those people opportunities that they might not have in other places. I started getting Facebook ads for this like sometime last year, and I thought it was really cool, but I wanted to do some research beforehand because stuff like this can be a bit dicey. There are definitely certain establishments that pride themselves publicly, for hiring people with disabilities and stuff, helping them along, when in reality, they, pay them less than minimum wage. They don't really do anything to help accommodate them in the workplace. And yeah, Goodwill, by the way. Yeah, they're very, very guilty of that. So I wanted to have a pretty good idea before I went into this as to whether or not this, place was on the level. As far as I can tell, it appears to be the founders of it. Their son's actually neurodiverse, and so they went over there and, they built up the business to have some things that him and people like him could have a good work environment and have opportunities. They pay fair wages. They have, opportunities for advancement. It seemed really cool to me. And it has a little thing on the back here. It says Popcorn for the People is a non-profit establishment to create meaningful employment for autistic adults and individuals with other disabilities. We aim to combat the 80% unemployment rate in the autism community with training and hiring of autistic adults to create, cook, package, and sell uniquely flavored gourmet popcorn. Even has a little thing here, which I think is very cool. It says this bag was labeled, packed, and made by Sophie, whose favorite flavor is caramel, and whose job specialty is event fulfillment. I think this is a very cool thing, and I wanted to highlight it on my show. So, I went for the Gourmet, just the straight butter popcorn, because that's the basics. So, let's give it a shot. I already know how it is, but I'll go into it, I promise. If I didn't, then there wouldn't be much of a video. So, shall start with a single kernel, and then go from there. And here's the thing. I'll let you know right now, just in case you don't want to go through the entire review, I really like this popcorn. But if you would like the details as to why, here's the thing with this. Fundamentally, this is good popcorn. And not just good tasting, it's clearly been well cooked, it's clearly been prepared very well. It has a nice texture to it. When it comes to popcorn, and mind you, I'm from Illinois, our state snack is popcorn, so I know a few things. When it comes to popcorn texture, for me, I want a popcorn that obviously isn't stale, it's not too hard, it's not too chewy, but at the same time isn't too light. Because I've had popcorn that's almost like ethereal. It's, almost like packing peanuts in its texture. I don't want that either. I want a popcorn that I'm going to bite into. I know I'm eating the popcorn. I'm enjoying the sensation because it's giving me time to enjoy the sensation. And at the same time, it's not something that I have to gnaw at. It's not something I have to worry about breaking my teeth on. This is, texture-wise, pretty much perfect. I don't have any problem with it. It's light, but not that ethereal kind of lightness. I know I'm eating it. I'm enjoying it the entire time. So, texture-wise, it definitely gets a pass. But flavor is very good. And I'm going to prove it to you by eating an entire handful. And I think the thing that I like about their buttered popcorn so much is that it has a nice butter flavor right from the beginning, but it's a lighter butter flavor. And it takes a little bit for it to fully kick in. When you get, I'd say maybe 3/4 of the way through eating the popcorn, that's when you really get the hit of the butter. And it's nice. Because some butter popcorn, especially the ones that are like heavy with the artificial butter and stuff, it can be a bit much, makes it heavy, and it really just kind of takes away the flavor of the actual popcorn itself. With this, that's not the case. You're tasting the popcorn the entire time, even though there is, again, sort of a buttery sensation to it right from the very beginning. Then, at the very end, that's when you really get hit with that nice buttery flavor. So, not only is it just a nice eating experience, but it's a lighter eating experience, whereas comparatively some popcorns can be a bit more decadent. Now, that could be kind of a hit or miss, aspect for you. For myself, and I mentioned this in my original version of the review, if I were to go over there and cast any gripe, and it would be such a minimal gripe, it would be the fact that for me personally, a little bit more butter flavor. Just a little bit. If we're talking about the extremes of the butter flavor where you have, like I said, just the too much, where it's just too overwhelming, conversely, just like where there's practically none, this sits nicely somewhere in the middle, but it's a little bit on the lighter end. And for me, again, I think a little bit extra would just for my personal sensibilities, but that's it. That's the only thing I can say, and it's not really a negative, it's just a personal preference thing. I really like this popcorn. It's super tasty. Like I said, the texture on it, the way it's been prepared is clearly on point. It's a good, just casual eating experience popcorn. And what I mean by that is, well, okay, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes and yes. So here's the thing. I was always going to be rooting for this because I like the mission statement. I like the idea. As somebody who has people in my life, not only in my family, but also in my own friend base who are neurodivergent, it is very important to me that, they and people like them have opportunities like this, because it is a problem. There's obviously a lot of competition just within the marketplace for, people who don't have to deal with that aspect kind of working against them. So it's doubly important that we go over there and make sure that these people, have these opportunities, because everybody wants to feel like they're contributing, like they're, wanted, and, that they get to be part of things with other people. And so I was always going to root for this. But fundamentally, if it wasn't a good product, I would be doing myself a disservice if I went over there and I upsold it. I would be doing you a disservice, and I would even be doing popcorn for the people a disservice. I wasn't going to do that. If it sucked, I was going to tell you it sucked. But it didn't. It's really good. Now, is it the best butter popcorn I've ever had personally? No. Again, just for my own personal preference, a little bit more buttery flavor would just be for me. But at the same time, I did go over there and say that, yes, of course, I would go over there and get more of this. This is very good popcorn that has clearly been well prepared. And if I can go over there and buy a bag of this, and it can go over there and assist people who are in that position, if it can go over there and help this business to grow and expand and, hire and train more of these people, and then on top of that, I'm also getting really good popcorn delivered to my house, yeah, of course I'm going to support that. That's awesome. So again, while it might not be my outright favorite of favorites, it is still a very solid butter popcorn coming from someone in Illinois who, again, popcorn is our thing, one of our things. Yeah. And as for recommending it to people, I mean, if you're clearly, disregarding the mission statement, okay? We're talking just flavor, just the whole experience. It is still a very good popcorn. Genuinely. The flavor is really good, texture is perfect on it, and it's a very nice casual popcorn to eat. And what I mean by that is some popcorns are more decadent. They're more of a, that naughty treat for yourself. With this is something you could go over there, just get some friends around, pass the bag around. You're not, I don't think so anyway. It's not like a heavy popcorn. It's not going to weigh you down, but it's still flavorful and really good. So, yeah. And then again, if you want to tag on the mission statement, and I'm not trying to shill for anybody or anything like that, but I do believe in going over there and promoting good things, because that's super important. So, for me, it's a win on both ends. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your folks. You go over there and have yourselves truly, popcorn for the people-tastic rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, again, even if you're not in the mission statement, hey, popcorn and people, they go well together. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. It's rough, folks. And, like I said, kind of the whole point of this particular review is, about trying to preach that positivity in a way. But we're not always going to be able to. The world can be very frustrating and stressful, and when we deal with those situations, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, sometimes when I do these little final notes, I try to bring in something funny, or I come up with wacky scenarios or something. I'm not going to do that with this. Here's what I would like you to do. If you have anybody in your life who, is neurodiverse or has any other type of disabilities, things like that, might in some way make their life a little bit more difficult than the rest of us, just try to make sure that, they're included. Try to make sure that you make them feel good when you're around them, because it really is just actually important. And of course, you should do that with everybody in your life, good people in your life anyway. Like I said, I have people in my life, and I know it's something that it can be a little bit of a struggle. It's entirely possible that I'm a bit neurodiverse myself, if we're entirely honest. But I can struggle with it sometimes because, I'm a little bit socially awkward. And it's something that I know that I have to make a more conscious effort for. And, hopefully I succeed in that role more often than not. But, like I said, and even if you don't have anybody like that in your life, just it's very important that these people are accounted and that, they're valued. Anyway,